Hello. Thank you for accessing this short training presentation. My name's Lisa Berry. I'm chair of the UKCRF Network Study Intensity Group, and this session is going to give an overview of the summary of changes to version 14 of the Study Intensity tool. The session today is going to give a quick refresher on the intensity tool itself. We refer to it as the SIT. It's aimed at existing users of the tool. There will also be a video which will give a full introduction to using the SIT. Today's session is going to highlight the changes to version 14 with a few presentation slides, and then going to give a short demonstration of the tool. We're going to look at pages 1 to 5, the admin page, the summary page with a very brief explanation of how it can be used to enhance workforce planning. And then we'll look at the resources page, which will have signposting to further support and training for you. The Study Intensity tool is designed to support clinical research teams in workforce planning, and it calculates study workload using whole time equivalents. Now, this version merges adult and pediatric functionalities into a streamlined, easy-to-use Excel workbook with enhanced usability and updated procedures that are aligned with national guidelines. It measures activity of nursing, laboratory, imaging, and up to 4 MDT staff groups in addition to administrative tasks. It measures intensity and complexity for study visits and for the trial as a whole, and it consists of 8 pages. So pages 1 to 5 are where we document our clinical study activity. We have the admin page, which has a nursing administrative and 3 admin MDT staff groups. We have the summary page, and then there is the support page. Those of you familiar with version 13 of the tool will see that version 14 looks quite different. The visual layout has changed significantly with a new colour scheme. The colours are aligned with the UKCRF network branding, but they've also been chosen to enhance usability and accessibility for our users. And each colour now serves a specific purpose, and this will make it easier for us to navigate and use the spreadsheet more effectively. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see a colour key. One of the first things you notice when you look at the tool is that we've used this dark grey, almost black colour to blank out those cells which serve no function or purpose. That makes it easier for us to then focus on the cells which do need our attention or data adding to them. The white cells remain the same as with the previous version. These are for you to enter your free text comments or data. The light grey cells remain protected. These can't be overwritten by the user. We've got the light aqua cells. So these are cells where we would be putting in a title or a header for the pages. It doesn't relate to costing, intensity, or whole time equivalent calculations. The cells that are yellow, this will relate to either the whole time equivalent or the intensity calculations, and the coral colours relate specifically to costings. Version 14 now merges the adult and paediatric tool into one version, and the user can toggle or switch between adult and paediatric versions by selecting paediatric or adult from the drop-down boxes on pages 1 to 5, and you can see an example of this on the screen now. Now, the only difference between the two specialties is some slight changes in the agreed procedure timings, and this is the same as with version 13. And the reason for this is that some activities, such as measuring vital signs or receiving consent, can take longer in a paediatric patient than they would with an adult participant. Selecting paediatric in the drop-down box, which you'll find on pages 1 to 5 in cell E50, will change the relevant procedure timings from adult to paediatric. What we would ask, though, is that if you are using multiple pages of between 1 to 5, is that you check that each page has the relevant specialty. unlike the header, so if you add in the page title, a study title onto page 1, that will pull through to every other page. You need to manually, from the drop-down box, select adult or pediatric for each of the 5 individual study activity pages. We have got some other changes across 1 to 5. As I mentioned in the last slide, if you enter the study title onto page 1, that will pull across to every other page, as will the per hour costs and the MDT staff titles. The study duration has changed. We now do not require you to decimalize these. You just add your study duration in years and months. You add the overall or the total study duration on the summary page, and then the page specific duration is entered on the pages 1 to 5 and also the admin page. And that's because you could be using, for example, page 1 just to capture your recruitment activity, and you want to measure that. Maybe if you've got a 6-month recruitment period, you would want to have just 6 months on page 1 because that's how long you're recruiting for. But perhaps the study is going to be running for 3 years, and so on the summary page, that's where you put that total 3-year figure. The recruitment activity will now calculate for you the whole time equivalent and the whole time equivalent per annum for that particular activity. And what we've done is group together the education, the study setup and additional activities on pages 1 to 5 in one section. So it just makes it less likely that we're going to either miss off any staff groups, education or study setup time, or less likely that we're going to double count it. And what we've added into the MDT sections is the ability to cost for out of hours and include that as a whole time equivalent, because we know that it's not only nursing staff that work out of hours to deliver our studies. Now we've got additional features which I'll show when we do the demonstration. What we thought and feedback from the users is those that were involved in our pilot of version 14, and thank you to all of those sites, is that being able to minimize disciplines or minimize the sections you're not using on the tool makes it again much easier to then focus on the cells that really need your attention. So you can either minimize or maximize all of the sections for the entire page, or you can go in and minimize and maximize individually, and I'll show you how to do that. We've kept the visit type headers 1 to 5 at the top of the screen, so it doesn't matter which view you're in, whether you're looking at the bottom of the screen or you've scrolled right along to the right, you will still be able to see which visit type number you're working on. We've aligned some of the data again to make it much easier for us to find those outputs quickly. And our suggested procedures and timings have been reviewed with support from national colleagues, and we've reviewed and enhanced the guidance comments which are in the cells, and you can access those, if you remember, by hovering over the red triangle in that specific cell. Now the admin page, really excited about this, as this has been updated following feedback from our users. So the request was, could the calculations on the admin page be pulled through onto the summary page? So that now happens, and that is an active function within the tool. We've reviewed all of the administrative procedures and suggested timings. Now remember, the timings of these activities will change depending on the size and the complexity of your study, but we've had some support from our colleagues working in project management roles nationally to look at these activities, and they've also been reviewed against some NCVR costings. There are now 3 admin MDT sections, and we've introduced a nursing admin section on the admin page, and that's been included so that we can identify where the nursing teams are, or nursing members are, what they're doing clinically, doing those protocol driven activities, and then how much time they're spent actually doing the non-protocol driven administrative activities that are happening, so you can see where perhaps there is a difference there. What we recommend if you're using the nursing admin section of the admin page is that if you've got an activity on that page, you don't include it on pages 1 to 5, because otherwise we're double counting. But that's been the sort of same principle for all of the versions of the study intensity tool since we first started many years ago. The summary page has been enhanced, and we've had some really positive feedback from our pilot sites for this. So we've enhanced the outputs that we get to assist you with workforce planning. The overall summary is now at the top of the page, and it includes the whole time equivalent per annum. All of the staff groups are listed. And what you can see, it might be a bit hard to see on this screen because there's a lot of data to fit in quite a short space, but you'll be able to see when you're using the tool itself, is that the whole time equivalent and the whole time equivalent per annum for all of the staff groups on all of the pages, including admin, will now pull across onto the summary page, and what you'll be able to see is which staff groups have got more intensive work for the study, or which pages require more support from your teams. And then you still get the previous calculations of your overall intensity, the costing, and the overall whole time equivalent required to deliver that study. Also, by using this, as I've said in the previous slide, it can help you easily identify how much time the nursing or clinical teams are spent doing the administrative tasks needed to keep the study running. So the tool has gone live from the 4th of December 2025. You can access the tool via the UKCRF network portal. We've got a study intensity webpage there. The tool can be downloaded from there. Remember, it is one tool for pediatrics and adult. You don't need a separate tool for either of those. We will be introducing some bite-sized videos, and the content of the videos will be based on the feedback that we get from you, our users. If you've got queries, questions, please do email those in. We've got a generic email, and we are going to be reinstating our monthly live demonstrations, Q&A sessions that can be accessed via Teams. You don't need to pre-register for these. Those dates and the links will be available on that web page, and we're scheduling them a year in advance to help with everyone's calendars. We've updated the frequently asked questions document, which is specific to version 14, and there's also a written summary of changes, which gives more detail than the video that we've gone through today. It will list specifically what those changes are and which cell you can find those in. And we do recommend that if you're a previous user of the tool and familiar with version 13, it's quite helpful if you can look and compare them both side by side just for the first time while you get used to it. I haven't got time for any questions today. This is a pre-recorded session. What we're going to do now is flip over, and I'll do a short demonstration of those pages just so that you can see the areas that I've referred to in the video today. Thank you for watching.